Yes, indeed. Drum roll, please. The King of Mondays is here on Wednesday, but no matter what day it is, he is the king, because truth is not relegated to any one single day. Brother Neil Frazier, aka Metamorphosis, how are you doing today? We talked briefly and it charged me up, and I can't wait to move forward and roll forward with what you have to share today.
Greetings, brother. Yeah, I was looking for my crown. I couldn't find it, but nonetheless.
Well, see, it's not a matter of what's on your head; it's what's in your head.
Bingo.
See?
I love it. Yeah,
you can put a crown on an idiot and put him up on a podium to talk, and people will start leaving because he has nothing to say. So if you never had a crown, a physical crown on your head, the majesty and the wisdom comes from inside your head, and that's what makes people gravitate toward you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, brother. That's the same gift you share. And as we were talking, and I want to greet the family. Sorry, I apologize for not being on camera today, but I will on Monday.
Yeah,
but
no problem.
Certainly, this is something that all things have a season, and certainly this is a topic we've discussed before. Many other people have discussed it, but like you and I were talking, a lot of times we gloss over stuff or we want to forget it because it's too painful.
Yes.
The memory of it. But if you go, people pay therapists and psychiatrists and psychologists thousands of dollars just to go and sit with them. And the first thing that they say is, what is the actual problem? I don't want to hear about the symptoms. I want to know what the actual problem is. And until and there are some people that can't even admit to themselves what the actual problem is. That's at the foundation of narcissism. But once that's done, then you're able to decipher everything and splice everything up in order to get to the healing process. And when you look back over our experience there was an experience I had that made me really, really want to go back and look at this with a fine-tooth comb, along with Memorandum 46. And the thing that really stood out to me is that this was a deliberate action that was taken by people who fully understood the psychosocial ramifications of this. In fact, they were one of the things that he said, which is absolutely seeming to, that's why I use the word prophecy. A prophecy is not just what you've been told about some old looking people with a long gray beard, quoting something that, supposed to happen later. A prophecy can come from any angle in nature. Certainly, like when we were discussing what happened with Katrina and how that 20-year cycle is very important to how things happen in our society. Right. But yeah, brother, we're going to go in today on this subject. Also, I want to greet the family as well. Again, this is something that we absolutely have to discuss again, because some of the behavior that we constantly see now, and you've done a couple of videos about it, we can't blame other people anymore. We have to take some accountability for this. you know, and at some point we have to look at ourselves and look at our behavior and say, okay, I'm the one that's just like if I do something and then I blame it on you. I said, well, Lance did it, or Lance told me to do it. Okay, but I'm the one that's actually doing it. So it makes us look weak-minded when we actually fulfill a lot of these damning prophecies that are told about us. I mean, labels that are told about us and stereotypes, and then we turn right around and fulfill it. So yeah, if you want to put your banner up there for a second, Lance, I just want to I want to comment on this, that we are in the season of Acacia, that nothing is hidden. And the reason why it's not hidden is because, again, we can't move forward. This is why we're stuck in reverse in many instances. We can't move forward unless we address these things that have us in the condition that we're in.
Exactly.
So today's title, Prophecy of Willie Lynch and Memorandum 46, actually, in my mind, it's an attempt to reverse nature, because when you talk about breaking or changing the nature of a human being, then that means that now you are going toe to toe with the Creator. We know how that's going to turn out. But at the same time, this is a deliberate act defying the person that created us. So one of the things that jumped out at me again, and I took my time going through these aspects I'll take my time with it, Lance, is that their primary focus was on the Black female. And the Black female has always been their number one target. Now, many people talk about buck breaking, but I notice another term that people don't talk about when they discuss this issue, and I called it horse breaking, because that's what they refer to Black women as horses. But the reason why this is not a slight on Black women, I'm not using the term for that. I'm using the term in the sense that the same way they broke female horses, for whatever reason, we know what reasons those could be, okay? But it was the same purpose for breaking the Black female. And it's funny how the Black female continues to be not only their greatest experiment, or they have learned and benefited the most from using Black females, to their biggest intellectual nemesis. And that in itself says a lot as well. So the very first thing that he said, and we know the story of Willie Lynch. You know, some people try to say that this is not that it's a fictional account, but there are too many references. When something survives over centuries, there is some validity to it.
Of course.
Now, we know, and not only that, just the fact that it's manifested exactly as he said it would, with a prophecy aspect, lends credence to it, whether it's fictional or not. But he said that they have to break her with fear, and with a bullwhip. Now, if you know what a bullwhip is,
oh yeah,
and you've seen the pictures on the backs of some of these brothers. In fact, there's a family that's fighting for the photo of this guy. I believe it was in Harvard University, that his picture became a symbol of the horrific beatings.
Oh, the brother who was sitting down and you saw the lashes on his back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a horrific picture, man. And then you think about what type of person could actually inflict this type of pain on another person on a daily basis, on other people. What type of mentality does it take in order for individuals to do this? But we know, just like today, that fear is their number one weapon. And they use this. Now, there are two different types of fear. There's the fear that you gain from things that you don't know about, the unknown. There are things that we know that we know. There are things that we know that we don't know. But it's the unknown, the things that we don't even know that we don't know, that when people can operate in that type of energy, that can be very damning. But the one fear is, not having control over something, that something could happen regardless to what you do to stop it. That's one type of fear. The other type of fear is when you know that someone has complete control over your body, and they can actually physically and psychologically reverse your nature. Now, that's something that many of our people in the modern day and age have not experienced. However, that's still in our genetic memory bank. But let's talk about this speech so we can get a clear understanding and comprehension of where we're going with this today. Delivered on the banks of the James River in Virginia in 1712, Lynch was a British slave owner in the West Indies. It was said that he owned a large plantation, and for whatever reason, the slaves that he had were very docile. And I guess they had a way of communicating. That's the other thing I thought about. They had a way of communicating with other white people in the Caribbean and other places. It may have taken months for the message to get there, but nonetheless, so we know there was some coordination globally, even back then, in order to accomplish this. But nonetheless, he was invited to instruct slave owners in America how to maximize their slave colonies and the financial future of their plantations. When you listen to that opening statement, you think about the fact that we have always been sort of like a corporate products or commerce, because even today, when they analyze us, the reason why a lot of white people are experiencing what's happening now is because they have no use for them anymore. The only use they have for them is to keep this perpetual lie going, to hide the truth of how they got to where they are. But it's almost like in war where they have the I forgot the term, but it's when people are injured on the battlefield, you only use, well, it's collateral damage is one of the terms. but you only use your what you have to sustain the soldiers on the battlefield for the ones that can get back into the battle. So in other words, if you can't get back in the battle, then good luck, because they're only going to use these life-sustaining supplies on the ones that can continue the fight. So the first thing he did, he informed them that he had perfected new methods with the old methods that they used, which was primarily brutality or cutting off somebody's foot or doing something like that, crazy like that. So he moved into a kind of, this was kind of like when they moved into, I don't want to use the word modern, but they moved into a more sophisticated way in which to maximize what they looked at as their products. Okay. But he also said that with the new methods and the old methods of controlling slaves, and that these new methods would guarantee to last between 300 and 1,000 years. Now this statement is also something why I use the word prophecy as well, is because I don't care what nobody say, this man, Willie Lynch, was right. And people can get mad at me all they want. I don't care. This is a fact. To me, he's more of a prophet than many of the so-called prophets I've seen or heard about in religion or anywhere else. Because it's almost like if you're an offensive coordinator and you're drawing out a game plan, you couldn't draw it out any better than this.
Right. Long after he's gone, it's still in full effect.
Brother, over 25 generations later, this is almost unbelievable. So, and let me say this as well. Without the active participation of people from the same ideology throughout these hundreds of years or 25 plus generations, this could never be accomplished.
Right.
So now you have to ask yourself the question, I mean, we've always known this, but now looking at our own survival, the future of our people's social economic survival is very critical right now. And we're still arguing over things that make no sense at all. Okay, because like you and I were talking, Lance, it's almost as if we still believe that corporate America or the U.S. government is going to have our best interests at heart economically, when we know they're not. If they can do this to their own people,
They're bloodsuckers.
They're bloodsuckers, man. They're vampires. If they can do this to their own people, and then there are a lot of things that the Western media, they're not telling us that's going on, that's going to have a severe effect on the Black community or the brown community as well.
Right.
But the thing is what we have to recognize is, and this is where Memorandum 46 comes in at too, right, Lance, where their primary goal, when you think about back in the days where they wanted to stop the rise of a Black Messiah, this was actually J. Edgar Hoover's, why he came up with COINTELPRO, is because they've always had this fear. But when you look at it on a global level, okay, from the Peanut Man in 1978, when they came up with this Memorandum 46, see, they planned 20 years ahead. This is another thing that we, for some reason, have not figured out. We're just looking at what they're doing now, but what they have planned is going to be a knockout blow. Yeah. Okay. And the number one way that they're going to do this, because America deals with capitalism, okay? And the way capitalism is structured, and we still have this same pattern now, no matter where you go, what kind of job you might go on, or what type of partnership you might have, we still have this master-slave mentality between, you know, people who are perceived as, okay, you're a product, and people that are perceived as if they are the corporation. So we still have this dynamic. So when they cut you off from trade with the diaspora, because that was the #1 goal of Memorandum 46, right, Lance?
Yep.
That was to cut off Black Americans from our brothers and sisters in the Kibalon. And what's so amazing, they ain't got to lift a finger, man. A lot of this garbage that they have on YouTube with people arguing back and forth about this. Again, you did not choose where you were born. You did not choose who your family was. So what you're doing the same thing that these slave owners have done to our people. Okay, you're saying because you're from a certain place or you have a certain lineage, then you're not worthy to be me. And we're going to see where that came from. He also said, he made a real powerful statement that I couldn't believe, but I don't know how I missed this over the years, but this is the first time I actually caught this. He stated that his programs would even put to shame ancient Roman emperors such as Caligula and Nero. Now that's a big stretch, brother. That's a big stretch. When you think about the inhumane atrocities committed against Roman citizens by Caligula and Nero, that is a big statement there. Okay, because some of the stuff that they did was very inhumane. So what he did was he praised the name of the colony, Jamestown, because it represented their king and the Bible named after him. He also stated that Rome used crosses to hang people along their roadsides, but that the slave owners were using ropes and trees to do this. Okay. And he pointed out that he caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging on a tree on the way there. And so the way he looked at it was like, well, you're cutting your own pocket or your own profit.
Right.
He wasn't looking at it like, okay, they're hanging on a strange fruit. Humans not supposed to be hanging on trees, right? But he was looking at it strictly from a financial perspective, not that these were human beings. So he said that, he stated that they are not only losing valuable stock, but slaves are running away all the time because of this fear that they might do something that cause you to hang them from a tree. And that also a result of this, not just you losing the slaves, but your crops in the fields are dying. And you know what hit me real quick when I read that again? That's why it's important to go back and examine history. Like Malcolm said, history is the greatest subject there is. And that is a fact.
That's right. Think
of all the crops that are failing, that failed in 2025, and that are failing now. Okay. So they, again, our ancestors worked through nature, whether you want to believe that or not. See, you don't know, you don't see the real war. Okay. We see the manifestation in the physical realm because they can control the propaganda and the narrative, even though you're looking at the actual event. They can actually say, no, that's not what happened.
That's right.
Which is crazy in itself. But yeah, that stuck out to me because he said that their biggest problem was losing their slaves. And on top of that, I mean, losing their products. And on top of that, you don't have nobody to pick the crops. They're all failing. And that immediately made me think about what's going on in today's world with all these farmers that are crying now when their only goal was to continue to keep Black people under their thumb. So now let's talk about how he planned to accomplish this. Okay, first he said, I have a foolproof program, okay, that is guaranteed to fix all of your problems forever. And that's a heavy statement. And again, you know, when you think about how hard they fought in the Civil War to keep slavery, and they always trying to lie, talking about, well, the Civil War wasn't really fought over slavery. It was fought over the North and the South. Well, what you think the North and the South was fighting for? That makes no sense when you think about some of the stuff that they say. They're even trying to put that in the history books now, that, you know, that it wasn't fought over slavery. But clearly we saw that the South, they were not going to lay down and let this golden goose just go away. They was not going to let that happen. So here's the manual of slave differences that he said were guaranteed to keep. And when you hear this again, it really makes you think about how accurate what he said and how it describes our people today. It's just, it's nerve-wracking, to be honest with you. He said, each difference that every slave has to be magnified at least 10 times. No matter what that difference is, their nose could be different, their lips could be different, but the primary ones, first he said, now this has to be implemented through fear, trust, and envy, which are issues for control purposes. Okay. And again, his idea of fear was, okay, you might sacrifice a couple of slaves. Just make sure all of them see the event so you only have to do it once or twice. This is not something you should be doing every day. Because here's another thing they lied about. They was lynching people every day, and they were carrying out these atrocities every day against our ancestors, these brutalities. So, you know, before Willie Lynch came along, they was like, okay, well, we're going to put the fear of God in you through these inhumane acts. And we know what they are. We don't have to really go over them. We're just going to talk about how he talked about magnifying these differences. And I know, you know, we've heard these before, but in light of the season that we're in, this might give you a different angle or perspective on it. He said, first, use age. Use the old slaves against the young slaves. Now look at our society today. You can't really have a conversation with young people in many cases simply because they view us as the enemy. He was definitely right about that. And the reason why, what'd you say, Lance?
I said exactly. I'm thinking, I'm seeing these scenarios playing out in my head as you speak. It's happening right. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And so this was one of well, it was the main or first one that he said that you have to, because this cuts the continuity. Okay, this cuts it at a generation. So whatever knowledge the slaves learned from how to survive, they would shut that off so it wouldn't get down to the next generation. And we see that today, not only with our young brothers, our young sisters as well. Let's just call it for what it is. We're going to have to talk about these things because this is an issue that the Black community, we're at a crossroads with this. Some of the stuff that I see that's happening, and again, they're going to parade their pictures across the television screen or any kind of media, right? I think you did a video about the 12-year-olds.
Yes.
See,
that's something
that would never had happened during our day, never.
Right.
Because the one thing too is our older brothers and sisters, they called us out, and we knew that if they called us out, it was out of love and concern. Now, when you call out one of the youngins, they look at it like some kind of threat on their manhood. And this is a serious issue. A lot of this goes back to this fake misogynistic masculinity that permeates in our society. And that's not what real men are. But when people, have this complex, let's call it for what it is, then they're going to have to try to be super masculine or super feminine, however you want to look at it, in order to compensate for this. And this has a real effect on our young men. It's mainly a defense mechanism, but they don't know where to draw the line. And so it's hard for us to talk to them. So what happens is many of them get punished by the system simply because they won't listen to us. And so that was very effective. The next one, which was equally as effective, and not probably, it is what the global caste system was built on, where that 4% of the world's population, like Dr. Amos Wilson always says, controls the other 96% of people in the world. Then 40% of those people, Black or brown, have to be complicit with this system, or Black and brown. And we see that playing out because we're in a situation now where he said use the color or shade, the dark or the light against each other. Okay. And that has certainly, and in every country that you look at where people from other cultures come from, we have this issue. It's also deeply ingrained in their own countries, in their own culture. So even here in America, it's the same thing. Maybe not, it's not as outright, but it's there. So this one global caste system has really put the world in a situation, even to this day, where people can't have basic conversations about shared needs based on the fact of your skin is lighter than mine, which is something that's, it's a weapon that they have used very effectively. They continue to use this weapon. The other few was intelligence. If there was a slave that you could make say, oh, Leroy got more sense than you got, boy, then all of a sudden you feel in some type of way about Leroy. Now, Leroy might be innocent and not even have anything to do with it.
Exactly.
But he's going to make you think that Leroy is better than you. Just like that movie where I think it's called Django Unchained, where they had that character Steven. As soon as he saw Jamie Foxx, how he became some kind of way in his feelings. What is that injured doing on a horse, massa? And so that mentality too, that one thing that he told them really worked out. And it's the same thing today. You get sabotaged. This is something you talk about a lot too, Lance. And this is at the root of envy. You'll get sabotaged by a Black person simply because you're getting more recognition. So if somebody's getting more attention, and this is something that social media has really, I mean, everything that we see and talk about is based on whether something is viral or something, how many views. Believe it or not, you don't actually know. These people are so, I can't even think of the word, but they're so wicked that they will deceive you on all levels. Okay.
Of course.
The unfortunate thing is they also have AI when they use these type of statistics that the bots and the algorithms also automatically go along with it. So you got to know that the same type of Willie Lynch thinking that was used then is used by the current colonizers' system of oppression. It's the exact same thing. It's just a different methodology. That's all it is. Size of plantation. This made me laugh because you remember one time Lance was talking about how the Black folks that was living up on the mountain, it felt like they was above the people that was living down in the valley. And so when I was saying that, I didn't think about the fact that this was something too that Willie Lynch said that was very effective. Well, where y'all staying? Where's y'all staying? Oh, we own the Gordon Plantation. How many acres you got? I don't know, but it's bigger than the one y'all own. You know, so immediately that gives you some type of status over your brothers and sisters, because now you're living on the plantation of the oppressor and you're bragging. That happens today. It's the exact same thing. You're bragging about the corporations that you are making rich, while at the same time, they are the primary reasons why our people are continued to be oppressed. Something is wrong with this. And that's why I say we're making a big mistake, which this is their game plan. Okay, just like Memorandum 46. You're going to find out that if you're the only people that do this, because all other people send money back to what they perceive as their homeland, whether you perceive it that way or not. They trade with the people who are most like them. And being in California, I always say this gave me a new perspective on things. You know, we learn a lot on the East Coast, but you really see the global dynamic here. And this is something that Dr. Claude Anderson warned us about, that you literally see playing out in California. Now, you can keep playing these crazy games if you want, but these people from other countries, they don't look at the world the way you have been taught to look at the world. Because there's going to come a time when you're not going to be able to trade or do anything with American corporations, because they use your zip code to do that. okay, to do the modern day redlining. But you're going to be stunned when you're not able to trade like this brilliant brother in what is it, Burkina Faso.
Oh, Ibrahim Traore.
Do you see what he's doing? Why in
Yeah.
the hell would black folks in America not want to trade with him? This is absolutely crazy. And then we get mad at the Chinese. Who are the Lebanese are over there, Lance?
Lebanese, Turkish, Chinese, big time.
Oh yeah,
living it up too.
Living it up. I saw
You should see
some
the
of
homes.
pictures.
You should see the homes up here that they have in the mountains.
I saw some of that.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, these people are running a serious okadoke on us because this is the Kibalon has the world's greatest resources that these folks will kill you see right now, move heaven and earth to get, and more importantly, keep you from getting it. Now,
That's right.
you are caught up into some kind of brainless war. Who cares? But there's going to come a time, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to have to say this.
Say it.
There's going to come a time when black people in America, because we already know, that's why I'd rather deal with a wolf than a fox. Okay? At least I know the wolf is coming at my ass to eat me.
That's right.
The fox has the same agenda, but his methodology is different. And in a lot of ways, it's more devastating because it catches you off guard. And so when we look at the situation where these millions of jobs that they're cutting, they're never coming back. You already don't do business with each other here in America. You're talking about a $2 trillion economy that could change anything anywhere in the world. What are our people doing? We're making a huge mistake. Now, I get it. People from other continents, naturally, they have different beliefs. They have different ways of viewing the world. They're told propaganda about us that's a bunch of lies, and vice versa. But when you look at Sun people as the original people of the planet, we've been played. We've been played real bad. And there's no excuse because we already know the game. It's just like if I'm playing against another coach and I know his game plan, but yet I refuse to acknowledge it, you're going to get the hell beat out of you. Now, I'm not saying you have to, love or be lovey-dovey with other people, but understand, and I told this story before, Lance, how white men in power in corporations, they might be having affairs with each other's wives, but when they sit at that goddamn boardroom, in that boardroom, you best believe they're coming together. Okay. They're coming together and they're going to stay on code about what they need to do to continue their legacy and, more important, to pass this down to the next generation. Okay. The next thing he said was the status on the plantation. What is your status? How do we know the field inja and the house inja? Okay, we know how effective that is, and how effective it has been and continues to be. Okay, what's your position? Oh, okay, right on. Well, what's your position? Oh, okay. So, that automatically means that I'm above you. So I can walk around like I'm, part of this system, even though I'm not, as long as I know that you are shut out. Brother, we're in serious trouble, man.
Big time.
Our mindset has to change. It has to, because it just has to, man. There are things that like I said, being in California and seeing people from around the world, and I know you see that too in New York, places like DC, international cities. The thing is these people have a different mindset, okay? And when you see them, they're trading with each other. I have a friend that's from Turkey, and sometimes I might go to his restaurant if I go to Oakland, and I'll stop through there and talk with him. Every time I see him, when I walk through the door, he's shaking his head, because we've had conversations over the years about certain things, and he said one day he told me, he said, "Neil, I told you waste too much time with that stuff." He was like, "Let those people go. You need to connect with people who are like-minded." And then I was like, "Bro, if I could let it go, I would." And I know there are a lot of our people who have done that out of necessity.
Yeah.
Just, it's something that you just can't walk away from. But there's a huge sacrifice, because not only are you fighting your own people, you're fighting the people who see you, whether they lie and try to act like they don't see you. You're a perfect example, brother, how they try to hold you down, which frustrates them because they can't. The fact of the matter is, you're going to take some gut punches. That is, that goes with the territory. But then at the end of the day, you have to look inside yourself and decide as an individual what life means to you. That's something that no one else can do. Yes. But be that as it may, that status on the plantation is still something we grapple with. I was watching a show one day, and some black guys were discussing how frustrated they were that every time they go on a date with somebody, the first question is, "What do you do for a living?" Not anything spiritual, psychological, anything to find out who the person is. What kind of, they have on YouTube, I'm sure you've seen it, Lance and the family, this thing about gold diggers, right?
Yes.
See, too much of our time is focused on foolishness, man. Like, okay, it's a form of entertainment. I get that. But you're perpetuating a stereotype where now you got men automatically, and again, there may be some truth to this, but here you're setting up a dynamic where it's a no-win situation. So many of our brothers, okay, who are hardworking young men that are basically good people that came from good families, don't get the time of day. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Simply because of that. Now, I'm going to say something too that's going to make a lot of people angry, but this is true. I don't care about that stuff no more, man. We're in a hell of a situation. Now, out here, you get more play from white women and maybe Latino women.
Yep.
The black women out here, they ignore you, bro. Not all of them.
No, we know. We understand.
But a large percentage of them. Now, that goes both ways, because I see one of the reasons with a lot of the mindsets of the brothers. But then it's deeper than that, because they'll walk right by you and not even acknowledge you, bro. But as soon as a white person walk by them, their smile is big as the ocean, Atlantic Ocean. It used to perplex me at first. But now I really understand it's a psychological thing where it really does bring out this point that Willie Lynch brought out, where, you know, you put the men against the women as well. We're going to get into that a little more. But some of the other things that he pointed out that you need to use with Black people is whether they're from the East Side, West Side, North Side, or South Side. Now, who does that fit? Because no matter where you go, in any city, it's going to be the Black men that's going to ask you, you from the South Side? You from the West Side? Oh, no, you must be from the East Side. Where is your name on the Chamber of Commerce for that city or that county? Where is it?
You got a point.
You don't have white people asking you, are you from the East Side? Or are you from the West Side? No, you don't have that. But this definitely came out of the Willie Lynch letter, because we see that just like everything else playing out today. You can't get brothers from the East Side to get together and do business with the brothers from the West Side. That is sickening, brother, in 2026. And see, this is our downfall. This is not white people. This is not, you know what I'm saying? Now, there are other cultures that they use against us, the buffer cultures, for sure. But when you think about it, it's not even with them. We have to stop putting blame on other people. We have to stop this.
Take accountability.
We know that they are the foundation of this. We know that. The world global color caste system that exists on every continent. We know this already. The question is, what are we going to do about it? It's been hundreds of years. Okay. A few other things he said was coarse hair, kinky hair, straight hair. Okay. That was something too that he said was very, very important. Point out that difference, make them see that if any of the slaves have stringy hair like us, then you automatically elevate us. And, you know, to their amazement, no matter how many of our sisters they essayed, the baby would still come out with our features, even the hair. Okay. So, you know, I guess they started looking more closely at Mendel's law of dominant and recessive genes, because the only way you can perpetuate that is you have to continue to put recessive genes together. And that's something too that comes out of Latin culture as well, is that they, and I've heard, you know, a lot of them say that on YouTube as well. And I know a lot of Latin people that's something that is deeply ingrained in their culture. Okay. And yes, that when you put the recessive genes together, that'll perpetuate that light skin. And again, I remember growing up that the red bones were always the ones that, you know, walked around with their noses up in the air.
Right. Remember that?
You know, you remember the old red bones.
Uh-huh.
It was really something. They really thought that they were, and when you think about situation with the Creoles and that whole Boule thing in Louisiana, that was an aspect of this as well. So basically, the outline for action implemented in this playbook, and the Black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, will be docile and complicit for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Now, let's talk about what I was talking about earlier, that the Black women were absolutely their number one target. And this was what they referred to as horse breaking. Okay, because again, when they discuss this, this is the terminology that they use. This was the lexicon they spoke in. That Black women, okay, they must be broken like our horses and become totally submissive. Okay. And, you know, this demand by misogynistic white males for submission, we see throughout every area of human activity. Okay, where the sick mentality of people being submissive, okay, whether it's they compromise you through religion and making you submit to something that helps to oppress you, whether it's in education, where they're lying in the history books and the school books. And the only time you see any of our people, not the 300 plus inventors, you always see something dealing with roots or 1619 or something about slavery. Okay, so the breaking process requires controlling the horse. Again, this is the terminology, not Neil Frazier, that they use about Black women. And their offspring, which they call, we know what they call them, ninjas, but they also call them cults. And they were saying that if you completely break the female horse and the children, the cults, all future generations will be automatically subdued because of her natural fears of essays and Black girls who were taken and traded out by wealthy white men. Now, what does that remind you of today? It reminds you of the same situation we see playing out, that these rich and powerful people have always had this fetish, this sick fetish, with young girls. So you can just imagine what happened to a lot of young girls who were on these plantations. But again,
kind of unchecked, they could just do what they want.
Oh, brother. Oh man, just the mere thought of it, unchecked. Wow, and so they were saying that, and this is something too we see playing out today as well, is that if they completely break our Black women and make them totally dependent on them, okay, and some of the other ways that they did this, we all know the gruesome story about bringing the strongest Black male out and then, you know, tying him up, his arms and legs and horses going in different directions, and all the slaves on the plantation see him split in half, or taking a bull whip and slicing open the stomach of a pregnant woman and then smashing the baby in the ground. These are things. So when you see this type of behavior, it does something to the human spirit. Okay. It's so like when they used to use, when they captured people in war and interrogate interrogate them, they would use these type of tormenting tactics to get information. Okay, and so after about maybe a couple of generations, then automatically this was something that younger Black boys and girls just automatically went into. You know, this mentality, this mindset. The other thing that came from this was, another thing we see today with the coons and the coonettes, or the coonesses, is that in order to gain favor, they'll tell the master something that's going on in the slave quarters in order for them to be like endeared to the masters, because they knew that they could count on them, and they would give them little small advantages, maybe some extra chitlins, or something like that. But at the same time, they're using them in order to perpetuate this system. And so let's look at, before we talk about Memorandum 46 briefly, let's talk about something too. When he began to talk about now, when you implement this, these are the results. You definitely are going to see the results right away. But what you're also going to see is how you don't have to do this anymore. The actual Black women will pass this down to the Black males that are born on the plantation. So they don't have to be broken again like the Black males that you already have on the plantation. In other words, they will help to perpetuate this ideology naturally, just out of fear for their children, this fear of what could happen to their children. So this legacy has crippled generations continuously. Okay, and the other thing too is they have incorporated other cultures into this mindset, so that we're constantly being attacked. And it is a source of pain, but it's also a source of pain that's directed or that's done in order to elicit the effect that they want or they desire. And that is to keep Black people in a inferior mindset, regardless to what you're doing or what you're planning to do. Also, he said that we will teach them and we will break them to a point where all of their slaves being born will be taught to only trust, respect, and depend on us. In other words, this was the foundation of this mistrust that we have today, is that, and also the lack of respect. And we see this when other cultures come to America. The first thing they do, for whatever reason, is disrespect Black Americans. Now, that is a fact. That's something that also has to be addressed, because it's hard for a person to want to connect with you if you're constantly disrespecting them. That in itself is a big bridge we're going to have to cross. I don't have the answers for that. I know it comes from again, the easiest thing to do is to attack your perception of what the weakest link is. But once they find out how strong Black people are internally and our real spirituality, then they begin to see what the truth is. At the same time, we cannot be disrespecting our brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora. This will not end well for us. I don't know who you think your allies are going to be. And I keep saying this because sometimes I get these premonitions, just like Brother Lance and a lot of people in the family. You know, this is a gift that we have. And so at the end of the day, the thing that happens is we just ignore it because we spend a lot of our time responding to the disrespect. And we're going to see that this also is a calculated weapon against us. But here's the kicker with this, what he ended up saying in his closing arguments or statements. He said, not only you do it, but have your wives and children use these same tactics, and you'll see in just 1 year, less than 1 year, you'll see tremendous results.
Wicked. That's wicked.
That's wicked, brother. And so that makes you think about how they plan now. It really does. The other thing he said, that all slaves will be totally distrustful of each other. And they will automatically tell us everything about the other slaves' plans. That's what we were talking about earlier, and conversations. Slave owners and slaveholders have always had slaves to, the results of the slave behaviors and how to control them psychologically has always been a big part of them studying us. And the last thing he said is that you must have your overseers, the ones that actually are on the horses when they're out in the field or wherever they are, that actually manage their lives. You have to make them absolutely look at the slaves as inhumane. You can't trust them. That's why when you go into any retail outlet, you got people following you around in a store, or it could be in a convenience store, that they are not to be trusted, that their only goal is to take from what you have. Now, with that on the table, let's talk about something that's even more devastating to us in 2026 moving forward. And this is something we must discuss, okay? Because if we fail to really comprehend what's happening with this Memorandum 46, and now the continuing the Project 2025, we have to look at this system that's hundreds of years old, that's actually still being used through using different methodologies. But in 1978, then President Jimmy Carter, along with the CIA, okay, and our national security apparatus, again, this was once they became very afraid, because right after Jim Crow in the 70s, after they had wiped out our leaders in the 60s, they became frightened again, because they realized that there were figures like Mandela who had an effect on Black people in America. Okay, I remember seeing pictures with Mandela, with Malcolm, and with Martin Luther King on it. What you gonna do? Cut Mandela out the pictures?
Right.
This is insanity, man. This is absolute insanity. And then so people like Mandela and others, they were the ones, because Black people were on code again. We were fighting for our brothers and sisters in South Africa under that inhumane apartheid system. I vividly remember this. And so what they were afraid of us connecting economically, just as always. Okay, so the language in this memorandum specifically, and Lance, you know a little more about this than me, but the language specifically in this memorandum, just like they have a Project 2025 for you now, said that we must put a program in place that will completely disconnect the Black Americans in this country from the Black Africans in Africa. This is language, you can look it up, that they specifically came up with, because again, as I said, when we came out of the Jim Crow era, Black folks were progressing fast. For people that couldn't read or write for so long, boy, let me tell you, they put together, this frightened them. Because now they said, well, what if these, and that's why what they're doing today, man, I weep for my people that this is going to be the death of our people. I hate to say this.
It must be told.
I don't know if obviously they're paying certain people. They have to, okay? But how else can a Black person who have a Black mother and a Black father or whatever, one of them was Black, how could you look in the mirror and not throw up? I've never been able to understand this. Even if you disagree, how could you do this? And so they said, okay, well, now Black people are, got their own universities. They're trading with each other. This is during the time when Black businesses were in our communities, right? Yep. You go to the grocery store, it's owned by Black folks. You go to the laundromat, it's owned by Black folks. Everywhere you went, you go to the bank, it's Black. Everywhere you went, you saw Black economic power. But see, their fear was a global economic power juggernaut. That's what their fear was, okay? And that is the primary reason why they hate this young brother, brilliant brother. And it's because of his mindset. That's all it is. And also his love for his people and what he's doing. And more importantly, that he, thank you, Creatures, connects with Black people here in America. Mm-hmm. This is a big fear they have, brother. Because I'm telling you, a people with a $2 trillion budget, bro, you can command things that you have no idea that you can. In less than a week, less than 48 hours, actually. So I think about Bob Marley, what he said in Redemption Song. How long must they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? And I thought about that too. It's not just the physical death of prophets, it's the psychological. Because he came back in another stanza and said that it is our mindset that has us in the condition that we're in. That's all it is. And that we cannot continue to have this mindset and expect to survive against an enemy who has all the cards. Okay. Not only do they have all the cards, they're telling you they ain't giving you none no more. So we have the evidence. They came up with another. It's just a continuation of Memorandum 46. I got a chance to go through some of it. 2025, Project 2025. It's just different language, but it is the same goals that go all the way back to Willie Lynch. It is an incredible. I mean, it's so incredible when I started really connecting the dots all the way down to the language that they use today.
Yes.
And I finally had to admit to myself, I probably won't live to see any real changes with our people.
Brother, I understand exactly how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of these things where you give what you can to this fight, but at some point you got to look out for yourself as well.
Exactly. Because with that mentality, the Willie Lynch letter and now Memorandum 46, which has strengthened it, and all of the propaganda and mind control through social media, I'm feeling the way Malcolm X would feel if he came back today. I'm not saying I'm Malcolm X. I'm just saying we all have a piece of him in us, in our spirit, to want to see things improve. What people would not want to see their team, their race, their people improve. We're not saying we're going to conquer anybody else, whatever, but we all can live on this planet and succeed and coexist. And so, how long do we have to wait? How many messages do we have to give, even in our own lane, in our own path? And it turns around and the bickering and the fighting and the backstabbing, and also people who are talking righteous.
Oh yeah.
Turn around and, it's like, oh God, so let me enjoy this little bit. I'm still going to do what I do, but I'm going to make sure I'm saturated with happiness, joy, and peace.
Yes.
You see, I have
Absolutely.
to. You have to. But to kill yourself for folks who turn around and backstab you, not everybody, but there's so much I could tell you. I told you a lot. We had a conversation one time when I first moved out here to Ghana. You wouldn't, man, shoot.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And and it just lets you know that people can be. You can wear dashiki.
Yes.
You can talk this black talk.
Yes.
And you can do all of this stuff and then undermine your brother and sister like that. How could you
man, tell me about it.
How?
Tell me about it.
What kind of person could do it's just unreal. And then on top of that, it's not just some average Joe. These are people that you've been in the trenches with in many cases.
Yes.
You helped. You tried to elevate and boy, I just have to say, Willie Lynch was one of the greatest prophets that ever lived. I don't care what you say. You get mad.
I'll agree.
Whatever.
Even though it's, that may sound funny to some people who don't understand where we're coming from, but I have to agree.
Oh yeah.
I have to agree.
And boy, you read that Project 2025, man, these folks are not playing, man. Our people better wake the hell up. They are not.
Most of them are not. Most of them are not. They want to be entertained. Also, pain and pleasure are two of the most motivating feelings.
Yeah.
And we run from the pain, we run to the pleasure.
Yeah.
And we just don't have any sacrifice overall in us. I'm not saying everybody. We have wonderful people here in the chat room. People that follow, people that we hear, but they're diluted out.
Yeah.
And many of us will go right on back to doing the same old foolishness that we did before. And with the knowledge in the head, like it's not connecting. And to me, I see it, and I see my years passing by. And I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy my life.
Oh yeah,
still,
for real.
Yeah, I'm not hiding from anything. I'm gonna still talk the way I talk,
Right,
but whoever you can influence in your path. But you know, there's got to be some more. There's gonna be more momentum at this point. You know,
oh yeah,
there's got to be more momentum. You see the same finger popping, the same foolishness, the same things that black folks go after. Even the ones that act righteous, got to watch out for them too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I know. That's one of the issues that I had with church people. That, you know, at the end of the day, you condemning some people. You know, all of us have different things that we do, but if I pick and choose, that's just that's what they do, what the colonizers do.
mm-hmm.
They'll pick and choose a couple things that they see that's wrong with you, when they got 100 things wrong with them. and so church people do that as well. You know, they'll home in on, you know, issues that, just like, I hate to see these stories when people go during times of pain to pastors and then they end up getting abused.
Mm.
You know, when you go into this person to help you get over, in many cases, an abusive situation.
That's right.
And then they turn right back around and they just push the knife in further rather than pulling it out. It's again. Well, my brother, I think I'm going to end the show today.
Yes, I had a brother here who wanted to say something to you real quick before you go. I said I have a brother here who wanted to say something to you real quick before you go.
Okay.
I just opened his line. If you're still there.
Hey. Yeah. Yes, sir. Oh, the brother has to go.
Yeah, because that's what we do it every week. We you know, he puts his lecture down and you know, he has other things he's doing. So that's why, you know, this is his show.
I got time for the brother.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, brother Neil Frazier.
Hey.
Excellent job. Excellent job.
Thank you, brother.
Great courage to talk about something that Black people run from, fly from.
Yeah.
Very, very outstanding. Very excellent.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I learned when you get a certain age, you can't run from yourself no more. So, by default, you have to include other people.
No, most people do. Most people run from themselves.
Do.
Yeah. So kudos.
And you know, how do we do that, brother?
Say that again, brother.
Why do you think we do that?
I'm a psych therapist, so
okay. Oh, great.
Yeah. So the reason we do it is because of cognitive dissonance, which is
okay.
Cognitive dissonance is something that was best encapsulated in the song "The Way We Were." And there's a line in there that says, "What's so painful to remember?" It hurts it hurts too much. Blacks and people run from things. Why? Because Brother Lance said it brilliantly earlier. We run from pain and gravitate towards pleasure. And number one, it's too painful. And number two, to change it would require the one thing Black folks don't want to do, and that's work.
Okay.
Unless it's for a white face and blonde hair and blue eyes. Then we love what time you want me to be there? I'll be there at 4:30 in the morning.
That sounds right.
Yes, sir.
You know, and being a therapist, and you can definitely shed more light and relate to this in terms of how there are a lot of people that never get issues resolved because they're lying to themselves about what the real problem is.
The greatest lies are what?
The greatest lies is to ourselves.
Perfect answer, brother. Perfect answer.
Yeah.
Greatest lies are the ones we tell ourselves.
That's right. That's right. And then on top of that, we design a life based on that to justify it.
Teach.
And that's something else that we learn from this Willie Lynch energy.
Right.
And you know, sometimes I try to think like, how could I know I wouldn't last a day. Okay, because the first time you hit me with a bull whip, I'm gonna try to take it from you and hit you back.
Right.
But at the same time, I try to imagine being totally at the will of someone that I know looks at me as an animal. I can't even imagine it in my mind. So therefore, you have removed any responsibility that any pain you inflict on me, you have removed any accountability from yourself.
Right.
And this is something that our people do too. We'll find 100 different people to say this is the reason why we're doing that.
Yeah.
No. Now they may play a part in influencing us, but you know, as a therapist, it is your decisions that ultimately matter.
Right.
So you can say, oh, well, somebody influenced me to do this or that. And it's true. We have a lot of different influences by people whose standards and values we have been taught is greater than ours.
Right.
So
Eleanor Roosevelt said it best. And she went and worked. She went and hung around the Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh, okay.
And she said, nobody, what you're saying is what she said. Nobody can make you feel good or bad without your permission.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yes, sir.
You know, that made me think about the arguments I have with Neil and Frazier. It's like, okay, who's going to win out, Neil or Frazier? Because ultimately, it's going to come down to those two.
Right.
There may be a third component, but it doesn't carry as much weight as Neil or Frazier. So whichever one of them I decide to go with, that's who I'm going to have to point the finger at.
That's right.
Well, my brother, I could talk to you. You sound like somebody I could talk to like Lance for hours.
Yeah, I've been wanting to have us exchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can set up a show to do that.
Anytime. Y'all let me know. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe the next topic, then we can spin it off. My brother, what's your name?
This is Brother Terrence.
Terrence?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Terrence, Brother Terrence. What I'll do when we come up with the next topic, we'll shoot it to you as well.
Okay.
So you can be aware of the topic.
We can bounce off each other. I've written several books on Willie Lynch.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Now, we definitely have to have you.
Yeah.
Co-host a show. What
you did, you tapped into his secret. The secret to Willie Lynch is you have to realize it's not political emphasis, it's not economic emphasis. What it is psychological emphasis. And with that awareness, that gives you the secret key to defeating slavery and the slave mind. The secret key to defeating slavery and the slave mind is to become a psychological master. And blacks are trying to fight it. Ninjas in the street try to fight it physically. That's not going to work. Politicians try to fight it politically. That's not going to work. The intellectual class tries to fight it economically and in business. That's not going to work. But what works 100 and 1,000% of the time, the only thing that works is you fight it psychologically.
Yes, agreed.
The mind from which it comes. See, what comes from the mind touches the mind.
Absolutely.
You have to be a psychological master. And just one suggestion: we should not use the word prophecy, because prophecy is a spiritual term.
It is.
Yeah. And this man is not, Willie wasn't spiritual. He's causing this phenomenon of Willie Lynch is a socio-political phenomenon.
Agreed.
So a better term is the rulership blueprint of Willie Lynch, because Donald Trump is using Willie Lynch in Iran.
Yes.
He's using it in Iran as we speak.
I heard that.
He's using Willie Lynch in Venezuela as we speak. See, you got the blueprint for global rulership. That's what you dealt with. That's what this is. This is a blueprint for global rulership. They perfected it on the black slave over here, and now they're taking it. They're just taking it globally now.
Great point. And along with that caste system that they have in place on every continent, it's easy to absorb that into whatever they're doing.
Yeah, it's
you already have that dynamic.
It has what we call a universal application.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what it is.
Yes, sir.
Well, my brother, you definitely gonna have to close the show with us. We'll plug you in. Maybe on the Monday show, Lance will come up with a topic.
That's what I'm here for. I'm looking forward to that. So
just let me know, we can deep dive. Probably something will happen this week. Some type of encounter that I have.
Right.
But this thing with black folks really got under me, man. Every time I turn on YouTube, it's like, I'm like, okay, this is a serious psychological problem.
Right.
That something is going to have to be done. But you can clearly see the force behind this. You can clearly see the spiritual force behind this, because they know how to use wickedness very, very well. I mean, like you said, they're the masters at this.
Right.
And another thing that trips us up is, no matter how hard we try to emulate them in terms of this type of wickedness, we can never do it.
No.
That's why when you see something that's done by a young black person, like the 12-year-olds, it's like a shock, because we know that's not in our nature.
Right.
So how did this get in our children's nature?
You see, no, not their nature. There's two realities: nature and nurture.
Right. Two realities.
Nature makes a thing what it is originally. Nurture is what that person is taught. They were taught that. And see what this Willie Lynch is. We're in the computer age. What Willie Lynch has done is installed a chip in the mind of these Negroes.
A neural link.
Yes, sir. An actual chip, like those chips that you run run your computer, the programs. We blacks have a chip, a Willie Lynch chip in the hard drive of their brain that has to be pulled out. And it's brilliant brothers like you, it's brilliant brothers like Lance that's calling
and you.
attention. Oh, I'm trying to be like y'all.
Come on.
And it's
come on, man.
It's y'all brothers that's raising awareness and calling attention to it, and that's what's gonna cure it. Because the first step in solving any and all problems is what? Pointing out the damn problem.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting. You brought up the nature nurture controversy. That it's interesting how I remember the first time I came across this that terminology at Morgan, and at first I was like, okay, yeah, this does make sense, because people are taught to hate. They're not born
right
coming out of the womb being racist.
Right.
Okay, but at the same time, we know that there's something inside of each individual, or all of us have individual gifts inside of us. But what's so very interesting is the influence, the nurture or the environmental influence. Which one has the greater influence on our lives?
Right.
And from my own personal research, I found that, you know, it really depends on the exposure of the individual. You know, if they grew up in a certain city and they never left that city.
Your word is environment.
Huh?
Your word is environment.
Yes. Yes. So if they've never left that area, then chances are, and we see this problem in our communities today as well, where if they go to another city, they're going to run into issues simply because their mind has not been exposed to that. So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we were trying to figure out what is going to be the outcome. What are we going to gain from this argument about, you know, Black people from other parts of the world and Black Americans? What actually is what is the end game here? I know what the end game is for the wicked, but why do Black people not see that we have to have some type of, what do you call, kumbaya moment? Oh,
an epiphany.
Yes, we have to have that, because if we don't, we're still going to be like on a hamster wheel. And then the only way that they can perpetuate this system is to continue to divide us, like Willie Lynch, like Memorandum 46, and also like Project 2025, which I was stunned with some of the stuff that I read. And then the individual who actually conceptualized this, in my mind, he's no different than Hitler. So now I see why they have this aura, or this not newfound, but this love for Hitler and Nazism, that people are saying, wow, how could they feel so strongly about it? But it all comes back to us. I don't know how we're going to have this conversation other than, you know, like we're doing today on a larger scale, because the people who do have the public's eye, they're still dealing with the same propaganda that is geared towards us every day. So the ones who have the big mics, you know, they're mainly dealing with political issues.
But see, God is so good. The Bible says he answers every one of your prayers, not 2, 3, 4, or 5, every one of them. And in that awareness, Black people you get an epiphany every day.
Absolutely.
What they do is they turn a blind eye to it, and they don't want to react to it. They don't want to deal with it. They choose not to deal with it, because I forgot how it goes in the scriptures, but it says in the last days, a fool, God's word would be so plain that a fool need not err. It didn't say he wouldn't err. It didn't say he would not choose to not err. They know they know what they're doing. It's like these females running around here and they fornicate and get a baby, and then when you ask them about it, oh, I was young. I was young. Well, wait a minute. Did you know what hole the penis went in? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Well, you weren't young then. So blacks are just making an excuse to not wake up, because the wake up call is given 24/7. Why? Because
I agree.
Because we got the internet. You got internet on your phone, so you can't say you don't know what the hell is going on.
That's true.
Ain't no damn excuses nowadays. Blacks are choosing slavery. They love slavery. That's why we can't say they're not our people anymore, because what's our culture? People were having a show on the internet, said, what is black culture? Define black culture. And God told me what black culture was weeks later. Black culture is, it's not music, it's not cooking, it's not arts, it's not sports. Black culture today is self-destruction. We enjoy, we enjoy shooting each other, joining different gangs to shoot each other, and get females pregnant and disappear on them, and smoke dope, use dope, sell dope. All of those fall under the umbrella of what? Self-destruction. And blacks you get to a point in your development as an individual and as a collective where you're no longer a victim, but you become a volunteer. And blacks are signing up for this crap. These brothers see OJ Simpson. They see what happened. They see what happened to him. They see what happened to Kobe. They see what happened to Tiger. And what do? They can't wait to go and get what? A white girl. And then wonder why the police want to beat them and shoot them. No, brother. Brother. Did you not see OJ? Do you not know who OJ Simpson is? What do you mean? So we're too in love with slavery. We're too in love with self-destruction. We're too in love with the slave mind. We're volunteering for it because why? We don't want to build our own reality, because that's the only other choice that we have.
You know what you just said reminded me of something Dr. John Henry Clark said. He said that it's all well and good, but if we do get land, if we do get reparations, because he talked a lot about nation building as well.
Right.
Well, who's going to run our cities? Who's going to pick up the trash? Who's going to make sure that the utilities are operating correctly?
Right.
All of these things, if you just focus on, that's why you'll see they always put up in the field of entertainment, athletics. These are the people that they put before us, but these people can't run cities and corporations. I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying chances are, if everybody's aspiring to be like them, who's going to want to be a city planner?
Right.
These are not things that because we have always had a system to do it for us, but at a price.
Right.
So you're not, if you agree to let me run everything and you're just satisfied with having fun and getting a little bit of fiat, and riding in a Maserati,
Right.
then okay, that's fine. You don't want to learn. The kids the young white kids that they're sending to these schools now, universities, Harvard, Yale, Georgetown, what you think they're teaching them? They're teaching them how to run corporations and how to govern.
STEM.
Huh?
STEM.
Yes.
Science, technology, engineering,
Yes.
mathematics.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And so while we're still focused on the social, political aspect of things, America is still a country that operates off of capitalism, even though we know it's not it's ran by capitalists, I should say.
Right.
That.
Right.
But at the end of the day, brother, where are our economic think tanks? I think of a brilliant economist like Dr. Claude Anderson.
Right.
Why isn't he looked at as a leader for us? Or why does our perceived leaders always have to come out of the religious sector? I'm
Right.
not saying that they shouldn't have some type of spirituality, but at the same time, you need to choose people from the different areas of life that have
Right.
the experience and the wisdom that can run a black. What are we going to do if we get 1,000 acres of land? What I mean, we have black farmers. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Right.
But the black farmers are going to be dealing with the crops. They're not going to be dealing with the everyday running of that land. That's why one of the things I learned from Dr. Kojo when I was studying with him in New Mexico on their ranch is that the Native Americans, or so-called Native Americans, whatever they want to call them, this is a big challenge for them. That, you know, their different systems are totally separate from the American system in the sense that the police can go, or the sheriffs can go on their reservations
Right.
if there is an issue.
Right.
But for the most part, they're the ones that's running the reservations.
Right.
And
Well, see,
what do they have? Casinos.
The problem with black folks is they allow white folks to choose their leaders for one, and for two, black people. You know, in the 60s, we had Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, Elijah Muhammad, Medgar Evers, Muhammad Ali. We had a variety of leaders. Today, we don't have any. Why? Because black people, the same reason your 5-year-old child or grandchild doesn't pick broccoli. Why? Because we don't want it. Blacks don't want leadership. Why? Because most of the black people are on drugs. The black community has been saturated and inundated with drugs, and marijuana's been what? Legalized. So you get to all kind of people everywhere, anywhere, everywhere you go. You be in your car, you look over driving down the street, and they got a marijuana a cigarette hanging out their mouth. Everybody's on drugs, and including the females. And the females' biggest drug is the brother's big drug is what? Marijuana. The female's favorite drug is what? The word that rhymes with drug, a thug. All these young females want thug, gangster, criminal, low-life dudes, pants sagging, dick grabbing, no job having dudes, fornicate with them, get a baby so that they can get the welfare check. So we're in a cycle of extreme self-destruction. So who's the leader in the Black community? The leader in the Black community is people's damn ego. That's causing them to want the drug. Because they don't realize there's demons in the drug, telling them to go get more drugs. There's demons in the food. Hey, go get some more of that McDonald's. Go get some more of that McDevils, McDeath, Taco Hell, Murder King, Death in the Box, Clan Tucky Fried Chicken. Go get some more of that. Go get some more.
Clan Tucky.
Yeah, and so it's too much demon possession and drug use for Blacks to even want leaders anymore. That's why we don't have none. Yeah.
And it seems like the ones that do emerge politically are females now.
Picked by our enemies.
Yeah. And they don't serve our interests at all.
No, Kamala Harris, she not giving you her real last name, which is a crime, is called the biggest crime in America is what? Identity theft. Well, why is she identity thefting a whole country? She's not giving you her real last name because she's sleeping with a white man every night. How in the hell is she gonna be interested in Black affairs with a white penis in her bed every night? Somebody explain that to me.
Yeah, that is a paradox.
Yeah, an impossibility. And people don't, Hosea 4:6, Black people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, the lack of research. Black people don't do the research to see Kamala Goldberg or whatever her last name is. She made her living and made her career off locking Black men up in San Francisco. Hating and destroying Black men.
That is true. I mean, it seems like, well, not seems like, it is that the choice that we're making, using your word, which is, I agree 1000%, it's a choice.
Right.
You know, we'd rather just enjoy the fiat. Huh?
Yes, sir.
We say Lance? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought I heard Lance. But anyway, this choice that they make is, okay, well, we'll let you do that if we can have this. And have this that we are being offered is something that a child would be satisfied with.
Right.
That's why you see a lot of childlike behavior with our adults. I saw a guy, I mean, it's with the saggy pants thing. That's gotten way out of hand. I saw a guy that looked like my age. His pants was damn near down by his knees.
Right.
And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, what message is, so it's like we have completely lost any accountability of passing down positive energy to the next generation. And by the way, I just saw a report, and they're always looking for negative things, of course, to say about our young people, which there are many of them who are doing positive things. And of course, we know they never highlight them. However, the ones that are out here carjacking and doing all this crazy stuff, man, this has got to be addressed. Because I don't see how the generation that's come, the 12, 13, 14-year-olds, they're not going to have anything to grasp onto, because the ones between 25 to say 40, or maybe 25 to 35, they live in an alternate reality that they have created with a lot of the things that you were pointing out.
Right.
They've
Right.
created a whole alternate reality, bro.
Right. But see, they only have one problem. They only have one problem, and one problem only. It's called fatherlessness.
Mm.
And let me say this one point real quick. Her real name is Kamala Imhoff. She's married to a slave master named Imhoff.
Oh, okay.
And last time I checked, when two people get married, last time I checked, the female's supposed to take the last name of the male. Somebody
like
correct me if I'm wrong.
Hyphen, right?
Not even a hyphen. Not even.
No, I mean, like when they choose to keep their maiden name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Name.
Yes, sir.
I mean, at least they're including the last name.
Right.
But they make some kind of distinction.
Yeah. But she hid her last name to trick the hell out of the people that she's trick the hell out of American people.
Yeah.
Especially blacks. But the only problem we have is black people have is fatherlessness. If the youngster's carjacking, why is he carjacking? Because he didn't have a father. Didn't have a father. Teenage pregnancy, why? Didn't have a father to police him. Robbing stores, why is he doing that? Didn't have a father. Fatherlessness. And where did fatherlessness come from? If you get the Moynihan report of 1965, the black female left the black family and the black house. We were married. We were married at an 85% rate.
Yeah. Today, I heard Dr. George Frazier talking about that.
Yes, sir. Today we have a 90% divorced single mom rate. It's completely flipped. Why? Because of the Moynihan report of 1965. Black females, white men went to black females and said, "Look, do you want your black husband to keep taking care of you, or do you want?"
I heard about that.
Yeah, or do you want us white men to take care of you through the government? Black females chose the white man and the government. And so she effectively married, our black females effectively married all the white men, joined the Ku Klux Klan, and promised to help white men destroy black men and black communities. And their reward, bribe, and payoff is stuff that we call Section 8, public housing, college, careers, good jobs. They were given that. They were given that to destroy their own community. And that's where black females learn their national anthem. Black females' favorite saying and national anthem is what? I'm a strong, independent black woman. I don't need no man. I'm a strong, independent black woman. I don't need no man. I'm a strong, independent black woman. I don't need no man. A ninja can't do SHIT for me. All this attitude we get and see today, that's where it comes from. And in the field of psychology, they don't realize what they've done. In the field of psychology, there's something called, anybody can Google it right now. We live in a computer age. You can tell if somebody's lying or telling the truth in 10 seconds with Google. There's something called a self-fulfilling prophecy. Right. In the Bible, God says, I will give you the words that you speak. And so black females saying their favorite saying is they don't need no man. So guess what? Guess what happened? Your man got removed from the community.
You spoke it into existence, huh?
Teach, brother. Teach. Say that again,
For
brother.
real.
Say that again, brother, please.
No, I said they spoke it into existence.
Thank you, brother.
That's crazy.
Yes. And so, and then they got the nerve to wonder why they kids are killing each other.
Yeah.
Why they burying their kids. There's a mother in Chicago. She's had 5 or 6 funerals for her boys.
Wow. That's insane.
Yes. And
yeah,
so
Chicago is really, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. Our one and only problem, fatherlessness. Why? I can prove it real quick in 2 seconds. Because we no longer have brothers like me, you, and brother Lance pouring into the young males and ushering them into manhood like we used to do.
Right.
Because the female, you hear these black female, I'm the mama and the daddy. I'm the mama and the daddy. I don't need no man. And then
more importantly, the kids hearing them say it too.
Right. And
that's crazy.
And then our black females are spending, they only spending $30 billion a year on white people hair, on fake hair, on weed. $30 billion a year.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane.
So where are black people ranked amongst the richest? Black people in America have to be the richest people on earth. Why?
No question.
Because you take 30 billion a year and throw it away.
That's just for hair. That's just for hair. For cosmetics, it's pretty much the same.
Yes, you have to
read
be.
A statistic one time where 82 or 84% of the cosmology industry is supported by black women. Something ridiculous. I couldn't even believe it.
Right. And so that's what is a nation? What does a nation call its money? A gross national product. So black females are taking the money we could build a nation with and throwing it in the garbage. Because why? Because they hate their own hair. When you go buy some hair, it means you hate your own hair.
That's true.
And when you hate your hair, guess who you hate? You hate yourself.
Pretty much.
And guess who's teaching the children?
Hello.
A self-hater. And when you hate yourself, what are you teaching your children? Self-love? If you hate yourself, are you teaching your children self-love? It's impossible.
That's impossible. Yeah.
Those are two polar opposites. So if you take the 30 billion a year that they go buy blonde weaves, blonde wigs to look like a white woman because they want a white man. That's what that means on psychological level. In 10 years, that's how much? That's $300 billion. Brother, can you tell me something that we can't afford with $300 billion?
Yeah, that's something, man. But we don't look at what you're talking about right now. Black people do not pay any attention to that.
Right.
Nothing's going to change this behavior. The other issue with that too is if your self-worth is based on that, you, like you said, it's a form of self-hate.
Right.
But if your self-esteem, your self-worth is based on you wearing a blonde wig, then you got a serious problem.
Self-hatred. You're the walking dead.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I saw a sister with a blonde wig on the other day. It just looked crazy to me. And you know, she was really dark. Now we all know, we're not talking about, you know, what can happen in terms of genes, but we're talking about again, the word you use, choice, a deliberate choice to put a blonde wig on your hair, knowing that that's not your natural hair color. It's absolutely insane.
Well, which brings up the logical question: whose hair is that? when I'm in Walmart and I see a black female, I'll go up to her and I'll ask her, did you get him yet? And she said, get who? I said, a white man. When you wear blonde hair, that means you want a white man. And it goes back to the main point. The reason we're having so much trouble and black females don't want us is because when we were first brought to America, they were not brought over here to be our women. These are not really our women. They were brought over here to be 304s for the white man. And that's why we have so much trouble out of them.
That's a good angle to look at right there, because the other thing I noticed with black women, she can have the whole world and still not be satisfied. It's almost like there's nothing, almost like Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? Well, why do I have to continue to do anything?
Oh, a perfect example of your perfect, you make a perfect point. I'm gonna give you a perfect example to go with your perfect point. Just Google the name. I work in the NBA, and I've worked with Steph Curry. Just Google the name Aisha Curry.
I have read some stuff about her.
Steph Curry has made $600 to $800 million. Aisha Curry let these words fall out of her mouth. Steph's getting all the attention, and I don't like it. I
heard her say that.
I want attention too. His $600 million. What's the moral of the story? The $600 to $800 million that he has made is not good enough for her.
Right.
That ain't good enough. That ain't enough money. Huh?
I was crushed when I saw her on that interview. Steph is such a stand-up guy, right? I was like, for a minute, I was like, oh no, God, please tell me.
Yeah.
Not doing this to Steph.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a perfect illustration of that, because what black man gonna have $600 million and you still not be satisfied? That is the craziest thing. So what? He has to have what? 800 million, maybe?
No, he has to have white skin.
Or maybe you should invest in some bleach, huh?
Yeah.
Some bleaching cream.
Yeah. They were never brought over here to be our women. And they black females on the plantation days, some of them would marry white plantation owner. The plantation owner died. She would keep the blacks in slavery. There's a book that talks about it called Daughters of the Trade. Daughters of the Trade. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That, that is something that is, I saw I don't know if it was a meme or, no, it was a meme. It was a video. I guess somebody did a short or something where, like you were saying earlier, these black women went to the Klan in secret.
Right.
For them to take out. Is that true?
Yes. It's on video.
Yeah, I didn't watch the video. I just saw the headline and I was like, man, this is a bunch of clickbait. This can't be true.
No, it's videos. Please,
I'm gonna watch the video.
Please delete our men for us because they don't want to act right. Yeah, it's several videos, and Mad Gunson made a good point. Michelle Obama, she's not happy with Barack. She didn't come support him when he went. All the presidents were called in, and all those white men were there. Their wife was standing right next to him. Tammy Wynette did a song in the 70s called "Stand by Your Man." But black females don't want to do that, and so Obama was there by himself. She didn't show up, and she get her raggedy ass in the public and say she's glad that she didn't reproduce him and have a son.
Wow. She said that publicly?
I'm quoting her word for word, brother.
Wow. But you know, when you hear Obama, like when he made certain statements during the Harris campaign, I was like, okay, so people true colors come out when they're under pressure or whatever.
Right.
And some of those statements he made, I was like, nah, bro, that's
he does not like, the reason he became president, he does not like black people. He's not for black people. How many black laws did he sign? Zero.
None that I know of.
Zero. How many rainbow laws did he sign? 53. Not five, not three. 53 rainbow laws. 53 sissy laws. So where does his interest lie, brother?
You know it.
Black females spend $30 billion a year on ugly ass fake hair. And they spend $300 a year on relationship books. Where does their interest lie? Your interest always lies where you spend what? Your money. Your money show what you interested in.
That's true. That's why you can't, you know, again, that's a big reason why black people have to stop pointing a finger at other people. Yes, the system does oppress us. They have set up roadblocks for us. But again, I like the word that you used, the choices that we make.
Right.
Nobody got a gun to your head.
Right. And see, no, it's good that they point the finger. Take your hand and point the finger out. Right now, you doing it? When you point the finger, what are those three fingers?
The thumb is pointing back.
No, what are those three fingers doing when you point your finger? They're pointing back at you. So I'm gonna use your word prophecy. We had a prophet that said it best, and we didn't even know he was a prophet. His name was Michael Jackson. And what did he say about the man? What man are we supposed to look at? The man in the what? In the mirror.
That's true. You know,
that's the man we need to look at. Not Tom, Dick, Harry, Steve, Tony. What are you doing? And that's what you're saying so beautiful.
Yeah, that was a powerful lyric. You know, many of our when you look back at many of our genius musicians like Gil Scott-Heron, who predicted winter in America,
right?
Prophesy, I like to use.
Right.
And also Marvin Gaye, when he talked about inner city blues. You know, these things were happening back then. It's like a continuation, because if you do something for just 5 years on the level that we do it on, it's gonna, just like John Henry Clark said, if a billion people did something, even if it was wrong, it's going to have an effect on the world.
Right.
And so the brain doesn't differentiate between what's true and what's false.
Right.
Your mind does that. And like you were saying, a lot of that is in our subconscious mind. So we do have some deep issues to deal with, and we're wasting a lot of time on just nothing. Arguments that at the end of the day, let's say you are what you call yourself. How is that going to change what we're dealing with on a socioeconomic level?
Right.
Because the system and the people that run the system, they're not going to change their attitude towards you. They know. I don't care what you call yourself. It's what they call you in their system, especially when you're dependent on their system, that matters. But more importantly, what you call yourself is very important. But it's the message as well that you're sending to other people as a result. And here's the other thing too. What happened to compromising with people? This is something too you learn from these asinine people. This is the only way they can rule. This is the problem with the current situation, where you're at war with a country that you started, and you're telling them they have to lay down all of their weapons and submit to you as if you're some kind of god. Are you insane?
No, you answered your own question.
Mm-hmm.
White people have become a god besides God.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you answered your own question. You solved your own problem.
Mm-hmm.
Trump thinks he believes that he's a god. America thinks that they're a god, because when before the war jumped off, Trump, the Ayatollah, they called the Ayatollah in to discuss a so-called peace initiative.
Right.
What the Ayatollah did not realize is they were planning his assassination with that calling him in.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no. Can you? Let me ask you a question. Can you negotiate with the devil?
Hell no.
Show me a scripture where it said God negotiated with the devil.
It can't be done.
End of story. End of discussion. Good night. Game over. Drive home safely.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no negotiation. Ain't no discussion. Ain't no middle ground. No, sir.
And in the Army, you got most of our young black men. I forgot the percentage that makes up the armed forces. Well, the Army, which is the one that's going to be along with the Marines, the boots on the ground. But at the same time, a disproportionate amount of our young brothers are going to be on that front line, like all of their wars.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But when they show a picture of the United States
fighting
Army,
blue eyes, blonde hair.
Right.
The all-American boy.
Yeah, that's what you see.
Yeah. See, when America started the Vietnam War, 90% of the soldiers on the front lines were white, 10% black.
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam went to kicking America's ass and destroying them soldiers the Army went from 90% white on the front line to 90% black on the front line, 10% white.
You know what they said? Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say they said that this is when, which I don't totally believe, but some of it is true. They probably discovered from a military standpoint, but certainly a lot of their doctors knew this long before the Vietnam War. But they said that this is when they discovered that black men's pineal glands were open during the autopsy, and the white males, soldiers, their pineal glands were calcified.
Right.
And you heard that before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they want to make it seem like this is something that they just discovered. Because with them, timing and season is everything. Because it's like people in a room that have a secret. You're in the other room and you don't know what that secret is. And then years later, you find out what that secret they had in that room was about you.
Yeah.
And so they hide certain things for a long time until they know that it's going to be discovered. And then they say, oh, well, we better go ahead and get in front of this information or put this out to the public, because if they find out from another source, it can make us look bad.
Right.
So again, you go back to this diabolical way of thinking that has always kind of kept us off guard, in the sense that, and this is where religion came into play as well, in order to help shape this in our subconscious, where at some point the good Christians are going to save us, or they're going to have a change of heart. No, they're not.
Right.
They're not going to have a change of heart. You can wait another 100 years and they're not going to have a change of heart.
Right.
Because what you're being told is the change that's necessary, or that can come from this individual that they worship, is not true. In other words, they can't solve issues for us using their theology.
Right.
Because their theology is based on white supremacy. When black folks really think that they're worshiping the creative spirit of the universe, they honestly believe that.
Well, see, they use Christianity to bring us into slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And see, you want to say white terrorism,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no such thing as white supremacy.
Of course not.
Let me prove it right quick. What are white supreme in?
No, I agree. I was just being politically correct.
Yes, sir. You're using the right term.
Yeah.
But we have to get away from that term, because whites aren't supreme in anything.
Not at all.
And so when we use the term white supremacy, it takes us into worship of white people and keeps us in worship of white people.
Yeah, I agree that the terminology we use is very important.
Right.
That we have, there are words in our lexicon that we have to change as black people.
Exactly.
And if we don't change those words,
we will stay.
And I'm not above that. I use words, but I go back later and I look at it and say, maybe I shouldn't have used that word.
It's called editing.
Yeah, we're so programmed.
Right.
That
exactly.
Sometimes we're not even aware of it. The other issue that we have when you're dealing with linguistics is something that was translated from another source doesn't necessarily have the same meaning. Or even in our own country. Okay, the region of, I remember, I'll never forget when I was teaching English as a second language in DC, that the student from Africa came up to me one day, and I didn't realize, I guess he had watched this movie, what was it? It was a basketball movie. I can't think of the name. The first Black team to win a national championship. They did a movie about it.
Oh yeah, Texas Western.
Yeah, Texas Western. Yeah. And he came in, he was all excited. He said, "Teacher, how could something good be bad?" And I looked at him for a minute. I was like, what are you talking about? And then he told me about the movie, and I just had to bust out laughing. I said, "Bro, this is what I'm trying to teach you guys about American language. First of all, you got to look at the lexicon, or not the lexicon, but the dialect from different regions of the country mean different things depending on where you were raised or what region of that country.
Right.
And also, not just that, the culture that you're raised in. So with Black folks, when you say something is bad, you're really saying it's good. And he was just so confused. And then you got synonyms, antonyms, and homonyms, which can take you into a whole different way of actually saying something.
It conveys a completely different message.
Exactly. And then you have the situation where you have all the symbiology in American language, but it can mean something totally different to two separate cultures. Like, for instance, with
the King's English versus Black's Ebonics.
yeah, there you go. There you go. But, you know, when they tore down the, what was it, statutes with, was it Sherman? And General Sherman and some of these other Confederate generals, where to whites, you was tearing down their symbol of power. Right. But to us, we were tearing down a symbol of oppression.
The slave master.
The slave master. So, you know, there are a lot of different things that go into when you are interpreting what somebody is saying. That's why it makes no sense, especially people from a whole different continent, for you to be having these arguments about things that's not going to really affect. Now, I don't have any problem with dialogue. Right. Okay, that's not what we're trained to do. We're trained by this system to degrade each other. Right. And so the minute you degrade someone and disrespect them, then all bets off. They're going to be thinking about getting revenge on you. They're not going to be thinking about building no bridge with you.
They shut down. They shut down spiritually.
Oh yeah, completely. And especially Black folks with the type of emotional pain we carry around. Yes. Soon as something hit us the wrong way, you can forget it. Yeah. There is no going back trying to start. Can we start? Can we start again? Can we kind of rephrase this?
In psychology, we call it a trigger. And we all know where a trigger is in
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
In the physical world.
Oh yeah. They're very, very good at that. Yeah. And I tell you something that used to bother me. You know, psychology was my field as well, is this Oedipus complex. Because, you know, for a long time, and then when you look at Freud, and then when you look at the fact that he studied, you know, the concepts out of Kemet, then you see how at some level they're always hijacking our wisdom and knowledge. But there was a time, and there is some truth to this, you know this, but you can't put everything on your parents, okay? Right. Now, you know, you can.
But as an adult, you have to accept accountability and responsibility
Exactly.
to change any and all trauma that they heaped upon you.
Exactly.
And I know that in my personal life.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yes, sir. Because both my parents tried to kill me. I mean, tried to delete me. I'm sorry.
Wow. Really?
So I had to work through that.
Yeah. So yeah, and then there are different levels to this as well. Now, there are cases, just like what you're talking about, where 100% the parents, definitely you have to look at what level of effect they have on a person.
Oh yeah.
Because I've dealt with at-risk youth that came out of foster care systems.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know who their real biological parents were.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, they turned out better.
Right.
But then in other cases, again, depending on, goes back to what we were talking about earlier, the old nature-nurture controversy.
Right.
It is true that whoever those people that are raising you and what they put into you is going to have an effect on you. But as you correctly said, there comes a time when you now know the difference between right and wrong and the fact that behavior have consequences. So when you make that decision, then you know that there are consequences coming with, whether you know it or not. Like a judge told me one time, ignorance of the law does not excuse you from the penalty of the law.
Exactly. So
just because you don't know something don't necessarily mean something ain't coming down on your head.
Exactly. So see, all of us live our parents. All of us live our parents.
Yes.
Not only do they give us our genetic code, but they give us our psychological code.
Yes.
If you look at the word parent, it comes from a Latin word, pare, which gives us the English word prepare. To prepare is to do beforehand. So our parent, the word parent means they lived a life before us, and they're getting us ready for our life. So we all live our parents, but there's a word that they got out called change. If you're going in a direction that your parents put you on, if you're going in a direction that you don't like, guess what? You have the ability to what? Change it.
Excellent point.
And so God says in the Bible, be ye changed by the renewing of your mind. And you can, it's a struggle. It's a struggle, but it can, will, and must be done. See,
emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but
exactly. And see, in life, what we've learned in our discipline is 90%. The problem in the world is 90% of people never change in their life. 7% of people change once in their life. 3% of people change all the time. And those are the ones who are successful and rule the world.
Something I was just reminded of a conversation I had with a young lady about a week ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Because when I was in the mental health field, it was the DSM-3. That was a long time ago. It's the DSM-5 now. But it was just so amazing how the thought patterns from then to now has been not so much the concepts haven't changed. They have changed a little bit, but more or less the way that people look at them, right?
Right.
So, and she was, I mean, we had a good conversation, But the thing that struck me was that the people who come up with this, just like with the standardized testing and the fact that the testing items are germane to the culture whose people constructed the standardized tests.
Right.
The same people that's doing the DSM are the same people who have defined everything that we accept.
The slave masters and white terrorists, the MAGAs.
There you go.
And I don't call them MAGAs, I call them massas. MASSA. MAGA talking about make America great again. What y'all really trying to say is MASSA. Make America slave states again. That's what y'all really want to say.
Oh, they sure working hard. They're working hard on achieving their goal with a lot of help.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, slavery is not just physical. As a matter of fact, the majority of slavery is psychological.
Yes.
And so I just don't see, unless we continue to have these type of conversations, brother, I just don't see. That's why sometimes now I don't even want to turn on YouTube. The other thing you see too is all of the dialogue is based on what they're doing in the world.
Right.
Well, how do you have time to focus on you as a collective if everything you're talking about 24/7 is based on what their behavior is?
Right. That's why they set up the dope opera. I mean the dope opera. I mean the soap opera. Dang. And you have they give you the what rules America? What used to rule America? The television. I mean television. Damn, I'm tripping. I mean tell you your vision. I mean oh man. The television tells you your vision because like Brother Lance said the other day, it's television. What are they called? They call programming.
Yes.
See, black people, Hosea 4:6, black people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, lack of research. Program, means toward. Gram is a Greek word meaning to write.
There you go.
Program means toward writing. What's being written? That means that they're writing on your brain. These television programs are writing on your brain, and what's written on your brain is what you're going to accomplish in the world.
That's right. When that electromagnetic energy, it doesn't, I mean, basically, once you're affected by it, that's it and that's all. And that's why you have to make a conscious effort to get this out.
Right.
Because if it stays in you, it's like a poison and a cancer. It just gets worse and worse.
It will delete you.
It will. It will. That is a fact.
Farrakhan said something very powerful. Get your pen and paper out and write it down. In each and every one of us is a gift that the world is waiting on.
That's it.
If you do not find that gift, develop that gift, manifest that gift, bless that gift, and express that gift, your own God will delete you with your own hands through your vices and devices.
That is a fact. I like to call that reverse metamorphosis.
Yes, sir.
That is a fact. That reminds me of what Dr. Miles Monroe said too, that the graveyard is the richest place on the planet.
Yeah.
And because all
the gifts and talents are buried out there.
There it is. And so when you to piggyback on what you're saying, when we don't use these seeds, then they just go back to the earth. Just like they were saying how seeds that are planted in unfertile soil. This is the other issue that we have.
Mm-hmm.
We know we have gifts that if we plant them in the right place, it's going to yield fruit after its own kind.
Right.
But we're planting our seeds in the oppressor's soil,
Mm-hmm.
unfertile soil, and expecting them to yield. This is good. When you really think about a lot of the stuff we're talking about, it really is mind-numbing that we don't really, they've taken away critical thinking from us as well.
Right.
It's like we don't even use any type of critical analysis, which is right in your face. Well, my brother, I would love to talk to you, man. We're gonna we're gonna hook up this week coming up. I do have to be somewhere at 4 o'clock. And
okay.
Yeah. But thank you, man, for your wisdom and sharing. And
thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. And the family, and as long as we keep this positive energy going, man, at least we can overcome.
Right.
And then hopefully we can influence, because people think you got to influence 1 million people for something. No. If you influence
5 or 10, 5 or 10,
that's all it, like the story with Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, if you find 10 people, I won't destroy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Find 10, right? Didn't it go down to 5, right?
No, it went down to 1.
If you find one righteous person, I won't destroy it.
And see, Adolf Hitler, he saw FOI. He saw the fruit of Islam. And he said, if I had 10 of those men, I could rule the world.
Okay. I bet he did.
Yeah, it only take, like you said earlier, you think you won't see the change in your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Bull mess. You're looking at the change.
Mm-hmm.
Turn on CNN. You're looking at the change.
Mm-hmm.
For one, and for two, you're making the change because we might have. I think you mentioned Gil Scott-Heron earlier, and he was one of the brothers that said that the revolution wouldn't be televised.
Right.
Here's the second part of that. Here's the upgrade to that. It wouldn't be the revolution wouldn't be televised, but the revolution would be streamed.
Mm.
And that's what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the way the internet works, we might have 10, 15, 20 people listening to us right now.
Right.
But this thing is recorded. And before you know it, we'll look up and it'd be 500,000 people will be done listening to this.
Mm-hmm. And also the energy that we can't see, it's just like if we were to see the actual electromagnetic energy, we'd be scared to walk.
Right.
Because it'd be like lasers.
Right.
But in that same sense, what you're saying, that energy, whether it be in a digital form or an electromagnetic form,
goes out into the universe.
In our voices. Yes.
It goes out into the universe.
And it can't be destroyed.
Right.
So my brother, with that, I got to get out of here. And I'll be in touch with you through Lance. And
yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to us really having a real good dialogue. Yeah. I'll plan out about 3 hours for that day.
Yes, sir.
It might be 9.
I didn't even hear you take a breath or swallow. I know I'm in the ring with somebody I got to pay attention to every second.
Yeah, you got a brother.
Hey, but you guys take care, man. You, brother Lance, and my brother and the family.
I'm signing off too.
You guys again soon.
Thank you
Yes,
again,
indeed.
brother. God bless you and your family.
Thank you, brother.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Terrence, for coming on in. I got to grab a bite to eat, and we'll set this show up, this mega show, you know, when Brother Neil gets the title, and we'll set it up long ahead of time, and you'll
You
get
gone?
it. So
You gone?
yeah, man. Remember, it's I'm so many
5
hours
hours.
ahead of America, and I want to get something to eat and relax a little bit, and set up some other things because I got to get up early tomorrow. But I'm good, and there'll be constant content coming on. But thank you so much. I enjoyed the conversation, and
yes, sir.
Definitely. So we'll do something on Monday. We'll just wait for Brother Neil to let us know. And
Yes,
we'll do
sir.
some stuff ahead of time. So
Keep building.
Always.
Always.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yes. All right. Peace.
Peace, brother.